If you want to know the best Pokemon to pull a wish for in Pokemon Masters EX, you're in the right place. Welcome to Sebastian EX. My goal is to create easy to understand, easy to use and quick guides for Pokemon Masters EX for newer players, for early to mid game, on a free to play or low budget level with an efficient mindset. Shiba, the true host here, will ask the good questions and I, Sebastian, will answer them, together with Sebastian EX. What are the contents of this video? At the beginning, I will give some general explanations on what the tier list means and how to use it. If you don't need that, skip forward and pause the video if you want to take a closer look. If you want to find a specific Pokemon and train a sync pair quickly, I added a link to a document where you can ctrl+f quick search any pair you just pull or plan to pull, so you get most out of your resources. There is also a recommendation to which banners are up at the moment and very soon. In the tier list section, I will give extra commentary for people who just recently started or people who are about to start Pokemon Masters EX. Big thanks to Spark, who is the original content creator of the picture-based tier list you can see over here. And he's very good for creating stuff for endgame contents of Masters EX. Also big thanks to Dreamy, who created the pull priority tier list on the Pokemon Masters Discord. Join the Pokemon Masters Discord, it's a great community with lots of helpful people. Links are down in the description below. After I've invested many hours researching who these Pokemon and or trainers are, some seemed easy of course, like this Eevee, but there are so many different trainers with Eevees, like we've got this one and this one. And that's why I've added text for you guys, like here Elaine and Eevee, and also Leaf and Eevee, so you have a much easier time finding what you need. I really don't want to count the hours I spent trying to find a Pokemon I just pulled, let alone trying to find a Pokemon on a banner without this text-based search. Yeah, you look pretty upset there. How do you build a team? What does this tier list mean? If you know the basics of team building or are familiar to gacha mechanics, feel free to skip to the next part. For beginners, this tier list gives you an idea of how to build your team. So we start off with a dedicated utility unit, which basically means tanking and buffing. In Pokemon Masters, you choose which of your Pokemon takes damage first, so having a dedicated tank will protect your big damage carries who will need time to buff up. And in your team, you'll also have 2 damage dealers and or 2 hybrids, or 1 hybrid and 1 damage dealer. And they are the ones dealing heavy damage of course, and the tech ones also come with some kind of buffs to give even more and even bigger, juicier numbers on top. If a Pokemon is rated A+ to Uber tier, you can safely assume your resources are well invested, ranging from the gems to purchase some of these, up to the level up materials and other buffs to passives that you have to spend gated currency on. With teams on high tiers from A to Uber, you will have a much smoother time to breeze through the early and mid-game content and unlock even more of the Pokemon units. If you are just starting, then I recommend that you reroll your account, which means playing the first campaign story and then claiming all the rewards for 10 to 20 pulls, depending on events, until you get a solid S or Uber tier unit somewhere up here. If you were unlucky, you can reset, which means basically delete your account very quickly and get another 20 rolls within about 15 minutes of playtime. What are the good damage dealers? This is the tier list of the damage dealers of February 2024. Pause the video if you need to, or click on the link to the document in the description where you can ctrl+f quick search any pair that you're interested in. Unfortunately, none of the Uber tier are on the banners at the very moment, but we are getting to Uber tier DPS units very soon. Steven and Deoxys on the 25th of February and Gladion with Magiarna on the 19th of February. Steven and Deoxys has consolidated its place in the Uber tier with really good self buffs, consistent and high special type damage, single target moves and a sync move that is a massive AoE nuke. Gladion and Margiana will be a new Pokemon, also making its way into Uber tier, also as a special attacking powerhouse. What are some good damage dealers for newer players? For newer players, the most notable ones here are Pidgeot with Blue, or Gary, because you get them guaranteed for free on every account. It's even better because our current banner features an Uber tier support. This one over here. Chase and Pikachu, which scale with trainers from the OG Kanto region, which means Blue and Pidgeot. Also, you get this Kanto pair up here, Trainer Red, well, the cartridge game version of Ash, kind of, and Charizard, which pair very well with Chase and Pikachu as well. From playing a pretty early game-ish to mid-game story mode called Legend Arc, you only need a level 80-ish team to unlock A tier plus Silver and Ho-Oh, and also Cyrus and Palkia, and your own main character pairing up with Solgaleo. You also get A tier Giovanni and Mewtwo from that storyline, and you even get a minus tier Zinnia and Rayquaza. So if you have a very fresh account, investing into Blue's Pidgeot is good, especially if you manage to reroll for Chase and Pikachu to then be able to clear those level 80 fights to unlock more 80 units in the damage dealer roster. Chase and Pikachu and Blue should be able to carry you through the legendary adventures pretty easily. Who are the good hybrids? For the people who skip this part, pause the video if you need to, or click on the link to the document in the description where you can ctrl+f quick search any pair that you're interested in. In the hybrid section we have units that excel at dealing high damage, but also adding utility to the team. The most broken unit here is Trainer Red and is Pikachu. He's super self-reliant with massive self-buffs, excellent AoEs with high damage, and even more buffs. If you managed to pull them recently, this is definitely your OP sync pair to invest into. What are some good hybrids for newer players? The most accessible for newer players is this A- tier unit here, and it's Getsus and Kyurem, because you can get them for free after beating a level 80 fight in the Legendary Adventure story mode, which you can definitely manage in your first days of dedicated playing. But don't worry too much about having a hybrid on your team early on. 2 damage dealers with a fitting tank support that also buffs their type of damage would do very fine for early to mid game. Your starter Pikachu is down here at D tier though, so make sure to switch away from that as soon as you can. Who are the good supports? At the moment we have Chase and Pikachu here in Uber tier. They're very good because they have good tanky base stats and buff tankiness team-wide. Even further, they add extremely good special type attack buffs for the whole team, which scales even better if you have OG first generation trainers from the Kanto region in your team, like the guaranteed damage dealer Trainer Blue or Gary that you get for free on your first day, or the Red and Charizard from completing the Champion Stadium questline after beating chapter 10 of the main story. Who are good supports for newer players? Notable for newer players are definitely Hop and Zamazenta at S- tier from the level 80 questline Legendary Adventures. If you're just starting out, I highly recommend you to reroll or to restart your account until you get this Chase and Pikachu pair, because that team will carry your early to mid game tankiness, and this pair will carry any special attack buff needs for units that you also get guaranteed from the questline. He even buffs your other starters like Brock and Onyx or Misty with Starmie. If you know and play Genshin, getting Chase and Pikachu is basically having Zhongli with his OP shield on your very first day of playing, carrying all your other units. Which banner to pull? Again, thanks to Dreamy of the Pokemon Masters Discord here. This fantastic tier list is for casual, free-to-play or low-to-pay players. I've mentioned the strength of the top 3 banners in the tier list section before if you're interested. Personally, I wouldn't pull for anything below S tier here if you're just starting out, for a good early to mid game. For late game, you should of course make sure to cover a wide roster for physical and special attackers, different types of buffs and debuffs, etc. to beat that specific late game content. But with the 4.5 anniversary coming up at the end of the month, You should rather save up your gems because you can usually expect really good banners during that event, like also Steven Deoxys and Gladyn Magiarna also to rerun during this time. Thanks for watching the first video I've ever created. You would help me and Shiba so much if you leave a like, comment, or even subscribe. If you want any specific other content of Pokemon Masters, let me know down in the comments. I wish you lots of fun gaming. Sebastian EX out.